name is Diane Cooper. I am partner and head of the cycling department at Digby Brown Solicitors. One of the benefits of being a member of Scottish Cycling is that in the event that you are involved in an accident whilst on your bike, you are entitled to free legal advice and free legal representation at Digby Brown Solicitors. I'm just going to spend a few moments giving you some hints and tips on how to optimise the prospect of succeeding with a case against a third-party driver when you've been involved in a collision whilst out on your bike. Now, the burden of proof is always on the injured party to prove the factual circumstances of the case, to prove the negligence of the third-party driver, and to prove the injuries and losses arising from the accident. So the first thing that I would always say is call the police. I appreciate this may not be a priority at the time. You might be in shock, you might be injured, or you may feel that your injuries are minor and don't warrant police involvement, but call the police. Not only do we have a police record of the accident having taken place in the event that this is disputed by the third-party driver or their insurers, but in addition, we will also obtain statements from the attending police officers at some point in your case. They will have documented what each party said at the time, and this can be really useful later down the line when alternative versions of events may be being advanced by the third-party driver or their insurance company. The next thing I would recommend is that you take the name and contact details of any possible witnesses. These witnesses should be to the accident itself, immediately before the accident and immediately after the accident. Do not assume that the police have recorded their details. What we are finding more often than not at the moment is that witness details are not being included on the police report. The next thing I would recommend is that you see what evidence has been recorded of the incident and what evidence can be recorded. Now, if you have head cam footage, great, that will have hopefully captured the incident. Inquire with the third party driver if they have dash cam footage. Again, if we know that, we can request it and we can get a court order to obtain that if it's denied. If you're cycling in a bunch, ask any of your fellow cyclists if they've captured any evidence. If you're in an urban area or there's commercial premises in the vicinity, see if there's CCTV around that might have captured the incident. If you believe there may have been CCTV, let us know as soon as possible. Commercial entities tend to only retain CCTV for about 7 to 14 days, so the sooner that we can ask for this to be preserved, the better. Then I would suggest that you take photographs. Take photographs of where you and your bike came to a halt on the road. Take a photograph as to where the third-party vehicle came to a halt on the road. Take a photograph of the third-party vehicle damage. Again, this can all be useful when you're trying to illustrate the point of impact. Take a photograph of the locus in general. Ensure that you've got any useful road markings captured. You take photographs of any useful highway signs. For obvious reasons, take a photograph of the third-party registration number, just in case. Have a look and see if there's any evidence of harsh braking, for example skid marks. If there is, take a photograph, it may be useful. If your accident has happened in darkness, I would urge you to take a photograph of your bike with the lights on. Also take a photograph of your high-vis or reflective clothing that you were wearing at the time. Again, can be extremely useful if the third-party driver or their insurance company are disputing that you were properly illuminated. Also, just a small point, and it may or may not be useful, hang on to your Strava data. It's not an exact science, however it can be useful in improving direction of travel or the accident locus. I would also recommend that you notify British Cycling as soon as possible. The sooner that we speak to you and capture your evidence, the better. We know that witness evidence can decay over time. If evidence is captured a number of months or years after the accident, the reliability of it can be challenged. So the sooner we speak to you, the sooner we obtain witness details, and the sooner we speak to witnesses whilst their evidence is fresh. Lastly, I would ask you to hold on to your bike. Not only does this illustrate bike damage and can be useful in determining point of impact, but we will have your bike examined by a forensic bike engineer at some point in your case. We know that carbon fibre bikes, if they're involved in a collision, the functional integrity is compromised and it's not safe to use. The insurance companies often challenge this, hence the reason why we get a bike engineer to prepare a report. So hang on to your bike to ensure that we get that report to optimise recovery of the pre-accident value of your bike. Now that was just a few useful hints and tips. I am going to be around during the day and in the evening at the Scottish Cycling Conference at the end of the month, which I'm really looking forward to. If you have any queries whatsoever about an incident you've been involved in, or the changes to the highway code, or the law in general, please come and speak to me. Alternatively, you can contact me at Digby Brown Solicitors. My telephone number and email will be illustrated on the screen. Finally, happy and safe cycling, and I look forward to meeting with some of you at the awards at the end of the month.